Gee, is this thing on? Great. I guess we better get started then. Today, we're talking about art. Would you pay $120,000 for banana duct tape to a wall? Someone did. And the right story can increase the value of almost any object. Take this house, for example. This is a painting by Edward Hopper called The House by the Railroad Tracks. It might look familiar to you. It inspired the art directors for the movie Psycho. Today we're seeking inspiration and we're going to tour some of the world's most famous museums. Just because you're stuck inside, that doesn't mean that you should be starving for culture. I'm going to screen share with you to show you how to do this. I know that some of you are huge fans of the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so let's start with the Art Institute of Chicago. Oh darn, they're closed. Visit us virtually. Let's take a look. I'm going to go over here to explore the collection. You might recognize some of these either from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off or maybe the Thomas Crown Affair. The Haystacks is featured in the Thomas Crown Affair. This is in Ferris Bueller. Picasso's The Old Guitarist. Georges Seurat's Sunday on le Jardin. And Hokusai's Wave. René Magritte is a very interesting painter. Some of you might be inspired by that one. And the work of Francis Bacon is very dark and sinister. It inspired the art directors for the movie The Silence of the Lambs. It also appears in the 1989 movie Batman and is the only painting in the museum the Joker doesn't feel like defacing. Salvador Dali, there is a lot you can do with him. As you can see, it is a very eclectic mix of art. All right, that is a great tour to take. There's a list of other ones here. The Louvre is, of course, the most famous. Some say it is the largest in the world, rivaled only by the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. They can't decide for themselves which museum is bigger, but if you can't make up your mind, that is a great place to go. And one of my favorites is, the Vatican is a great one to go to. That's the Sistine Chapel. We'll be visiting that in a moment. And Musée d'Orsay in Paris is a great place to visit. Let's go and take a look at the Vatican. I'm not going to bother with the Sistine Chapel. You can go look at that if you want. It is very impressive and deserves all of the attention it gets. While Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel, there was another young artist in Rome painting these rooms. They're called stanzas. Stanzas are it's the Italian word for room. But I like that you can look up, down, and all around. This is the work of Raphael. The three great Renaissance artists in Ninja Turtles, Raphael was the youngest. I don't know why Donatello is included with the three. Donatello is almost more of a medieval artist than Renaissance, but that's, I guess they just needed a cool sounding name. This room you probably might recognize. Because of this painting. This is called the School of Athens, and if you had me for speech debate, we probably talked about this painting. Like I told you, Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel at the time, a job he detested. He had a bit of an attitude problem, and I kind of like him. But one night, he was working late and fell asleep on the job, and he was sketched by young Raphael, who admired him very much. And this is him asleep. And it's kind of hard to tell, but when he was a young artist, he criticized another art student, and the art student reached back and punched him in the nose. And you can kind of see his nose never really fully healed. And also working in Rome at the time was Leonardo da Vinci, who is here standing as the model for, I believe that's Plato and Aristotle. So that is the School of Philosophy. This is known as the School of Poetry. Boccaccio is there. Dante Alighieri is right there. Keep him in mind. He wrote the Divine Comedy. Over here is the School for the Theologians. And I told you to pay attention to Dante. Dante also appears on this panel. Dante was seen not just as a poet, but as a theologian as well. So he is on both walls. And I don't know a lot about this wall, but those are Raphael's rooms. So take a look, find a virtual tour, and enjoy yourself. I think of it as a field trip. Tell me which rooms you go to, which tours you go on, and you are going to choose a painting to study in more detail. So tell me the museum and the tour, send it to me in an email, and then I want you to write a story where that painting is either the inspiration for your story or it's a story about that painting. I will give further instructions on my website as to what I expect, and have a great time exploring the museum. Bye.